Hi, thanks for watching. We've got here our 1989 G-Reg Bedford Rascal van. It's something we have a lot of fun with, taking it to many shows, and even before you get to a show, even if we're taking it on a day out, you get lots of pips, waves, and sometimes from slightly younger people, confused looks because they're less than 32 years old and don't know what a Bedford Rascal van is. But if you're watching this, you probably know, or perhaps might know, just a little bit about them. So let me tell you a bit more about ours. We've had it now since this time, about June 2016. So we've had it 5 years, and we got it on very low mileage. In fact, we bought it from KGF Classics in Peterborough. So if you Google them, you will actually find the advert for our van. But I'll put a lot more information in the YouTube description. At the moment, since now as we've had it a few years, it's now on 18,800 miles. Yep, that's just 18,800 miles, and for a van that's coming into 32 years old. You may ask, kind of, why has a van only done so little miles? Well, the first owner, a Mr. I think his surname might have been Williams, but anyway, his first name was Ivor. He had it for just over 3 years, about 3.5 years, and only used it to go out and do his shopping, and used it basically as his everyday vehicle. He never used it as a workhorse, although did order it to be ply lined from the factory, as you'll see in a minute. So when we, not when we got it, so after that, it was sold to one of his friends, Betty and Bill Hawkins. Now, they were a couple that, again, didn't use it for commercial purposes. As you'll see in a little bit when I show you some photographs, there's actually some photographs of what it was used for by Bill and Betty. They used it for only 1, at max 2 months a year, until they sold it in 2016 to transfer their prize-winning dahlia plants to horticultural shows, where Bill was also a judge of other flowers. And the reason I didn't know until I saw dahlias. I'm not particularly green-fingered. I like a nice garden, but I wouldn't have known what a dahlia was at first, much to my family and parents' annoyance. They're quite tall plants when you put them in tubs in the back of a vehicle. So this van actually gave Bill and Betty enough room to transport these tall plants. Anyway, I'm chatting quite a bit, and you're not really getting to see the van. So it didn't really do much. In fact, throughout the time that Bill and Betty had it, they never needed to replace anything on it. They had it MOT'd every year. You'll see from its MOT history, plus we also have MOT certificates for the van right back to when it was new. Well, not new, 3 years old, you know what I mean. You'll see that it's actually got a great MOT history. It's never had any welding, it's never had rust. I mean, you wouldn't expect that really for a van that's only done that amount of miles, but it's never needed that kind of work because it's just not been out and about. They kept it in their double garage. In fact, when I Google mapped their address, I presume most people know what I mean, but basically looked on Google for the house that Bill and Betty live at, it was quite a rare occasion for the van to be outside alongside their Skoda Fabia, but the van is side by side alongside the Skoda Fabia in front of the double garage where both vehicles were kept overnight. In fact, during the time they had it, I say that nothing went wrong, and indeed nothing did, apart from every year they needed a new battery. And we were quite bemused. I've spoken to Bill on the phone, and it was like, well, why did you need a new battery? He said, well, my wife's friend had a car or a van, or had some vehicle, I can't just remember what type of vehicle, and the battery would occasionally go flat. So the husband put a battery charger on, and on one occasion it burnt the garage down and incinerated the vehicle. So Betty wouldn't let Bill put it on charge. So every year the battery had been left, for the best part of 10 months, nothing had happened. Battery was, kaput, so they had a new battery on. We've not needed to do that, because although we haven't really used it a lot, we keep it topped up. So let's just show you a bit around the van, shall we? as you'd expect from something that's, you know, done not a lot of miles, it really is in really super condition. I'm sure those of you that are Bedford Rascal aficionados, can't say that word, but basically will know where the corrosion spots are on these things, and these Archies go for fun. But fair enough, they weren't exactly a dead high-tech van, you know, and they were out all the time in all weathers, so any vehicle back then was gonna corrode. But as you can see, because it's been kept indoors and because it's done no miles, this is why the paintwork and the bodywork is just like it is. So let's have a look in the back. Now check out the retro carpet. So as mentioned, Ivor had it ply lined from new and had this, well, once upon a time it would be, you know, a real trendy carpet. In fact, actually, it's not a bad colour scheme. It's just very, very retro. So I've just got a writing pad under my arm, so let me just pop that down. Right. So in here, again, people that know their Rascals will know what lies beneath here. So underneath this piece of carpet, of course, you've got ply lining. If you lift this up, battery compartment under there. Put that back. You can see just what it's like. You know, it's led a sheltered life. I mean, when we found it, we weren't looking for a Bedford Rascal van. We had bought from KGF Classics before, the garage, well, the dealer I mentioned in Peterborough. So we knew Carl, and we knew that how he described a vehicle was an honest and very fair description. So we actually committed to buying the van without seeing it. When we went down to see it, it was even better than what we thought. You know, we like these little details. Welch's, Welch's, the supplying dealer, on the number plates and on the rear window, because it was never sold by another dealer. As I say, Bill and Betty bought it off Ivor, and then we bought it off KGF, which of course specialise in classic vehicles, so they're not going to take the sticker out. So the number plates, you know, the number plates on it, they're original Welch's. Now, just something interesting about Welch's. I tracked down one of the sales staff. Welch's was a dedicated commercial, Bedford commercial vehicle dealer. And through the powers of the internet, I tracked down one of the previous sales staff. And she was telling me all about Welch's. They were one of the top few Bedford dealers in the UK for sales and won quite a lot of service awards. They were really going places. But eventually, as you may know, Bedford, well, General Motors, Vauxhall pulled out of the Bedford division, the commercial side. They stopped making trucks, and basically Welch's, after a number of years, got taken over and stopped trading in, I think, about 93. The lady was telling me. So she had fond memories of many Rascals going out, and she said, I would have worked there at the time that your Rascal was picked up. So it was quite a nice time for her to sort of reflect on one of her vehicles actually still being around and actually still being in great condition. As you can see, Welch's here. Now, you might be aware they're only a 1 litre engine, and yet look, we have a tow bar. So you think, what on earth has this pulled? You know, has it actually got enough power? Well, the tow bar, we only fitted that in, now I might just get the year wrong, I think it was 2017. So before we had the van, we had a classic car with a tow bar on, and I'll try and make this short, although friends will know I don't really make stories short. It's one of my failings. But basically, we had an old car, and we found on eBay a caravan. Now, when I say caravan, I use the term loosely, because it was very small. You couldn't stand up in it. It was the size of a double bed inside. So, you know, a very, very small caravan, weighed only a matter of, I think it was a couple of 100 kilograms. But it had a rear door on it that was mounted at the back. Now, when we when we had the old car, my mum, she was very much into dolls' prams, little prams, and we would take those to exhibitions for her, and we'd often take them on the back of the old car to car shows. Now, it was well, we were putting them on the back seat of the old car carefully so as not to damage it, but we found this little caravan on eBay, and it was just brilliant. It was an attraction at the car shows, plus you could actually fit some of Mum's prams in it. So when we bought the van, it was a must that we get a tow bar. Anyway, as I say, it was only lightweight, this little caravan. In fact, I'll have to find some pictures, but if you Google TARDIS shuttle caravan, it may well come up. It was a caravan designed to be towed behind motorbikes and trikes, so from that you can tell it would only be a small caravan. And my mum and dad actually did go away in it once, but that's all the van has actually towed. You know, it's not towed, that caravan, very much at all. We have since sold the little caravan. We sold that last year, but that's what the tow bar's for. So it's not been yanking around tons and tons of weight. Well, not literally tons, but it's not been yanking around loads, you know, wrecking up the clutch. Nothing like that. So let me show you a bit inside. I'm glad the sun's come out to show you a bit more. Let me just move that notepad. So I'm just going to slide the seat back a little bit. Some of you may be aware that because the engine's under here, you can actually access it by sliding back the seat. You can see that there is no wear and tear whatsoever to the seats. It's just like new. In fact, I'll take some photos of what it's like underneath here. Again, no rust. It's like new. It doesn't half cause a stare at shows. Anyway, let's just show you a bit of almost a two-handed job. So if you weren't aware, the seat will tilt back and you can get at the engine bay. It's even got the original yellow paint from the factory. So it's a Suzuki engine. In case you're not aware, the vans were developed in conjunction with Suzuki and marketed as a Suzuki Carry and a Bedford Rascal, and later a Vauxhall Rascal. This is one of the last under the name of Bedford Rascal. So you can see, you know, this has never been painted. This is original. In fact, when I was getting ready to take the video, I was thinking, what bits can we point out to people? It's like, if you look in here, it's mint. This is part of the reason it draws such a stare at shows. You know, it kind of captivates people. Just being careful not to trap the seatbelt. Just 1 second. There we go. And let's just put the seat back. Of course, the seat will recline. So let me just show you around the other side. Might as well show you under here. Oh yeah. As I say, Welch's, as you can see on the keyring, the supplying dealer. And what are we on exactly? What was the mileage? 18,850. There you go. I love all these little controls. You know, really basic, but just they work like a treat. I'll have to show you the radio in a minute. So let me just put this seat back. I have to put it back a bit more just so it doesn't catch the steering wheel. So let's put that forward and let's lift up that one. So again, all the original little yellow paint round there, and it's lovely, you know. Yeah, it's such a hoot to drive. And when you hear the horn, I think it'll work actually now without me turning the engine on. But let me just put the seat back for a second. Let's just listen. Oh, that doesn't half get used loads when people look at you. Anyway, so the radio is the original one. Yes, some may not have seen a radio quite like it before. No, it doesn't do Spotify. There is no Apple CarPlay. This is the radio from '89. This is what you got. I think it was 6,100, there or thereabouts, the van. So for that price, you got this radio. I think actually some of the older ones didn't even get one. But let's just see what we can pick up. Oh, here we go. Now you won't be able to tell, but that's Inglorious Mono, because we have one speaker. Yes, one speaker. But, oh, I think it's tennis, isn't it? So
Immediate challenge from Djokovic.
there you go.
It's close.
Anyway, of course, manual choke and all that sophistication. As you can see, it's just it's done no miles whatsoever. So it's helped it last, last like it has. Anyway, you must be if you're still watching this video, then well done for staying tuned in, because we're 15 minutes in at this point. Original fag lighter. Some people aren't necessarily bothered, but it's the original one and it's never been used. I mean, you can't smell smoke in it anyway, so you can tell it's not been smoked in. You might not bother whether something's been smoked in or not, but this hasn't. I found this quite funny. We mentioned this to Bill and Betty, and it was Betty that put this on, so we've kind of left it on. It does light up. Well, I need to put some new batteries in, but yeah, so very retro. Of course, all these lights work. I've just switched them off for the purpose of the video. In fact, actually, I've not put the screw back in here from having a look under here, but if you just look, that's what it's like underneath. Just, yeah. As I say, it doesn't half catch some eyes. So there you go. Now, we were at a car show. Let me just I'll leave that door a minute. We were at a car show a few years ago, and I must have had a screwdriver with me, but I'm a bit fussy. Some would say a little bit hard work, but anyway, that's just what I'm like. So, myself and my partner, one of us came up with the idea of what lies beneath this. This has been in for, well, now it's been in 32 years. I can't remember what year it was we decided to do what we did, but we set to with a screwdriver. It didn't damage anything, and we took out all the ply lining, so all these screws came out, all those, the screws, the ply line. If I just shut this door, I'm not rough with things, so I didn't shut it right first time. I took all this ply lining out. Now, can you just see a little bit of red there? We found out that's insulation. It's like wrapped in, it's in a polythene bag. Well, it's not a polythene bag, but it's a bit like a polythene bag. In layman's terms, it is. And there's insulation behind these panels. So underneath here, underneath this carpet is all your plywood. Underneath that, I don't know if you're going to see it here, is a thin layer of plastic, and underneath that is one real nice cargo bay. Yeah, it's all of this has preserved what's underneath. You see, the behind here is beautiful, proper shiny. It was a little bit dusty, but a bit of wiping off of the dust, and it just looked mint. So I will do some pictures. I may even do another video showing you what it's like in there. It just depends if I get the time. But it's like if you look at all this here, the bottom of the boot lid, or tailgate. Should you call it tailgate? I don't know. There's no rot or anything down here. Hopefully it'll focus. Yeah, it is doing. It's just. I've said it before, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it again. It's just been a hoot to drive. Yeah. Now, I think you probably know we're almost 20 minutes in. I think you've probably heard enough of me rambling on. But there you go. That's our Bedford Rascal. Oh, incidentally, let me just tell you something. You won't be able to see underneath because, I can't really jack the car up high enough. But I said it's never had any rust, it's never rotted away underneath. Again, you wouldn't really expect it with the low miles. But underneath here, that's what it's like. You can still see wax oil, where's my finger? That's what it's like underneath. Just as clean, just as mint. It's not rotting away, it's just as clean and smart. Bottoms of the doors, can you see there? Yeah. So I have got some pictures of underneath when it was in for a service, so you will be able to see. But you know, if I look under here now, there you go. Anyway, I'll stop going on now. Because it's not been painted, all these Rascal decals, I think that's what you call them, is it? The stickers. If I just try and focus it on there, all these, you know, where it sort of gradually goes from blacky blue, because it's a bit see-through there, through to the solid black. All of that's original, all the way around. It's not, I don't know if you could actually get a replacement now if you needed to paint one, but you know, all that with its graduated tint starting again there, all the way down. All of that is original, and that really is just about it. I think I'll kind of let you go. But yeah, that's our 1989 Bedford Rascal. So thanks for watching, and yeah, cheers. See ya.